Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 257.
257.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. They can book you almost anywhere you want to go. They've been in business since 1998, so that means they are turning 20 this year.
That is a long time.
It is, and they have 90 vacation planners also. And they really do specialize in Disney and do a lot of Disney Adventures by Disney and Walt Disney World and Disneyland. But they also do a lot of cruises, Royal Caribbean, and so much more.
Not to mention Universal. Universal fan travel, too.
Yes, so if you're doing a Walt Disney World and Universal, well,
why not?
And some guests just come for Universal. So check out their redesigned website for special offers, to sign up for their newsletter, and to book a vacation.
So we're going to start about a week ago on a Fat Tuesday for the Mardi Gras Parade and celebration here at Disney's Port Orleans Resort. Something we do every year.
Right. Disney's Port Orleans, Riverside, and French Quarter, they have this Mardi Gras Parade that starts at Riverside and ends at French Quarter.
That's right.
And here it is. It was on Tuesday, February 13th. It was right after, I think, we recorded the last show.
Right.
But this is something we've done for maybe about 6 years now.
That is correct. This will be our 7th year, and you can see the theme is Sweets and Treats, which is an awesome theme, and you'll see that very soon.
And every year is different. The cast members decorate the pargo carts, so each cart, I think like one of them, the turkey leg, is engineering, and I don't know what other ones there are, but probably housekeeping may have one, kind of like that.
And here is a very long-time cast member.
Yes, Arniel, he is a greeter, and there's also another greeter who I see just occasionally there, and I don't know his name.
Right. Anyway, it looks like this is the Mickey Bar, the premium Mickey Bar float.
Yes, and they were handing out Mickey bars.
There's the cooler. There's the cooler right there.
I got passed by, but that was okay.
You had to be at the right place at the right time.
When they were offering them up.
That's right. I have video of it. We're going to show a completely different pass of the parade in the show notes. We will link to that. So we recorded it twice, and that's something, if you really like this, you can go to a different area and see it again.
And I actually went upstairs 2 or 3 levels to shoot down for some photos, and they do hand out, like they hand out candy and beads. That's something they do every single year. Here are, and this was something that I could see better from up above, were the candy apples and the signs, and each of the candy apples had a name.
Yeah, and that was from the Candy Cauldron, taken from the old downtown, or Disney Springs, I guess you would call it now.
And here is a churro cart, and so, and each one of them, like here, it says how much like a churro would cost. So it was really fun to kind of watch the different carts as they went by.
That is a Bayou churro. I wonder if that's such a thing that one can actually get. Oh, that
Tonga
is
Toast.
Tonga Toast. And I will show him again. I am going to show just a couple clips from the other recording, including your really cool footage from upstairs.
Oh, okay. I forgot I took a little bit of video as well. And there is a Dole Whip cart, but it's not only a Dole Whip cart, but I believe it's a Disney's Polynesian Resort Dole Whip cart, and plus
Correct.
you have
featuring Dole Whip, yes,
and well, plus you have the tiki there, you have the tiki torches, you have
well, the Tonga Toast guy was with this unit,
right? So it was not only Dole Whip like in the Magic Kingdom, it was from Polynesian. And
here we have beignets. It would not be a Fat Tuesday Mardi Gras parade without beignets.
Yes, but it was a Fat Tuesday without beignets for us, because the food court was really busy.
Packed, but we just had them recently during the holidays. They had a special holiday version of the
gingerbread.
Beignets. Yes, they are so good.
And here are Storybook Circus outfitted cast members. So they were able to get, I guess, the costumes to, for the parade. And they are representing popcorn.
Yes, lots of popcorn. Before that, they filled my bag up with candy when I didn't even ask. I looked down and I have a full camera bag full of candy, which I still have some, by the way. And here is probably my favorite of all the floats. It is the turkey leg.
Well, the turkey leg, okay, every year, engineering really goes above and beyond with their cart. And last year, it was a Disney Cruise Line themed cart. The year before, it was a Star Wars themed cart, and this year it was a massive turkey leg.
And you didn't see it on this pass-through, but there was actually smoke and everything, and here is Princess Tiana.
And at the beginning, a number of years ago, they used to have Prince Naveen with her, but for the last number of years, she has been by herself on the coach, but it's still nice to have, to have her there.
And here is the Tonga Toast guy, as I call him, very energized, and I love myself some Tonga Toast.
We are very big fans of Tonga Toast at Disney's Polynesian Resort. You can get it even at the counter service location, Captain Cook's.
And I love this angle. This is when you went upstairs and shot down, and you really get a good view of how big, how giant this turkey leg is.
And it bounces.
Of course. Just like a few years ago, they had the Darth Vader bouncing cart you mentioned.
The Star Wars one. And then
the cruise line bus
also bounced. So they're able to really get, the cart going there.
Yes. So anyway, it was another fantastic Fat Tuesday, always a highlight of our parade watching year.
Yeah, this is, one of our favorite things that we look forward to. Make sure to put it in the calendar every year. And Fat Tuesday really changes. I think it might be in March next year. I don't remember
for sure. I believe that's true.
I mean, it really changes dates so much. So definitely check it out if you're ever in the area, during Fat Tuesday.
So now we're going to talk all about the minivan experience. Our good friend Curious Axel was in town, and he had planned this out about 2 months ago. He invited us to go to lunch at Trails End for the brunch, actually.
Right, and so we were going to get a minivan, and Axel really wanted to try this. It's not like we didn't have a car. We had a car.
We could have totally driven. We could have almost walked.
Not quite. But from Saratoga Springs to Disney's Fort Wilderness Campground isn't too far. But he wanted to see how the minivan would do it going to the Trails End.
Right. Because Axel had heard it'll take you right up to the restaurant, which actually was true.
But so we were waiting. It took about a half hour to get the minivan to... As you can see.
after a number of phone calls to guest relations.
Because we didn't know if it was broken or not. We didn't know that it could take a half hour or more of really just keeping, he had to keep trying to locate it. And this is on the Lyft app. So he could have had a Lyft vehicle, but to get a minivan. And we saw like a ton of them as we were going to Saratoga Springs, all turning into Disney Springs.
So finally, after how long do you think?
It was about a half hour of trying to get the minivan, and I think it was at least about another 15 minutes. We gave ourselves about 1 hour to get from Saratoga Springs to Fort Wilderness. Again, very close.
Right.
We ended up being late for brunch, which was okay. We had plenty of time, but it was more that it would be nice if you could have a wait list or something, and they could say, okay, well, we'll call you back. We'll be there at such and such time.
Now, once the minivan showed up, it was wonderful. I mean, you can see the chargers they have in the back seat, and there's Axel with his nice new shirt. We were going to make a stop to try to purchase a shirt for me, but time was short by the time the minivan came. Here's a look on the drive itself. The minivan is very nice inside. They play Disney music. It is a very nice ride.
Well, there's also 2 car seats, so that's something I guess. And I don't have kids, have never had kids, so I don't know how that works in a regular Uber or Lyft. But apparently, you don't usually get 2 car seats.
Well, I did find out something that is very interesting. If you take a regular Lyft, it will also bring you to the same drop-off point as we were dropped off.
Is that true?
True story.
Oh, I have no idea.
I did not know that either, but that is a new development I found out.
I have not heard that. So, but anyway, the minivan was very nice. We actually had a fantastic driver, and so it was fun to do it once. It was $20 at that time. It has now gone up to $25. There are many of the resorts on property you can get a minivan from. And you can pretty much go anywhere on property. And I think it's just concierge level guests who can get one to the airport for like $150 each way, which I would not personally do. But this was very nice.
And here are the car seats we talked about. Now, I did ask Axel what he thought about the whole experience. And he said, although he's glad he did it, he would probably not do it again. He went and priced it out. And if you were to do the same exact trip on the regular Lyft, it would be about $8.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a big difference. Again, if you have the 2 car seats, apparently, I don't know if the regular Lyft can have 2 car seats.
You'd probably
or
have to get a bigger car somehow.
Yeah, we usually use Uber.
And you can still use Uber. You can totally use Uber.
We didn't even use Uber until a number of months ago for the first time, so we're still fairly new to that. But anyway, it was nice. It was nice to do once for us. Some guests will probably use it a lot, and it certainly is a stylish way to get around
Oh yeah,
Walt Disney
that's
World.
the whole reason to do it. If there was none of this minivan paint job, it would not be a special thing for me.
Well, you know what? The vehicles are very nice, and that would be something like when you have a Lyft driver come, they bring, I think, their own vehicle, right? So yeah.
And
I thought it was
apparently
nice.
they will even stop along the way to where you are going, which is a nice bonus.
Apparently.
We were going to test it, but again, we did not have
And
the time.
because we did not test it, we cannot guarantee
Cannot
that.
guarantee it. So there, goodbye to the minivan, and here's where they dropped us off, which was very, very convenient. And leading up to the real reason we're here at Disney's Fort Wilderness, we are going to one of our favorite dining places of all of Walt Disney World, Trails End for brunch.
And brunch is available on Saturdays and Sundays only. And so this was something we did when they first started. What was it, about 2 years ago?
I think we were there the very first day.
Yes, and I didn't end up doing any sort of review, I don't think, on it. And it has changed a little bit since then. But the nice thing about brunch is that it is kind of a combination of the best of breakfast and dinner.
Except no strawberry shortcake.
Which is something that Trails End used to never have, except like if it was your birthday, they might
Right.
bring it out. It's something that you can get over at like the Hoop-de-Doo review. But one of my favorite things, and one of your favorite things, I think, too, is the chili. So that was a nice bonus. I think that's what I went for first.
Yes, what a great way to start breakfast with a nice steaming bowl of chili.
And we often make the breakfast, like at Boma, kind of into a brunch because generally those type of breakfasts have meats and such too.
So we're looking quickly at the actual serving bar, although there, when I had a chance to show this, it was kind of emptied out, so I apologize for that. Normally we try to get there for show-ready conditions, and here are some of the meats.
Well, there was a smoked turkey, and then there was an applewood bacon. So it's nice to have the meats. It was $25. I'll just say it's $25, and Boma is $27, and $25 for breakfast, or for brunch, not for breakfast. And I think you still Boma.
Boma definitely.
By far, really probably by far. Although the fried chicken here at Walt Disney World is probably second to none. I know Art Smith's is really good.
Yes.
But this is the long-standing chicken.
Well, the turkey they have at Boma for breakfast is phenomenal. The turkey here was very good as well, but I would give the nod to the Boma turkey.
Right. Just the whole, I mean, you have asparagus at Boma. You've seen Boma on our show many times because that is my favorite breakfast at Walt Disney World. But Trails End, just for the atmosphere, and then also food quality is excellent as well. You have corn muffins. I mean, you do have pastry items and, again, fried chicken and their really famous chili. And I think they had the build your own omelet as well, just like Boma has.
And what you're going to see up in the corner there is there's a drink component as well. And here at Trails End, it's called Moonshine, although it is fully non-alcoholic. And over at Boma, what do they call it? Jungle Juice.
Jungle Juice. And I think it originated there. And then Pog over at Lake Ohana.
Ohana, yep.
So I kind of wish they would each have their own drinks.
Specialty
yes.
drink?
But at the same time, I guess, you get to try it wherever you go, pretty much, at a lot of the buffets anyway.
And we should mention, just like most of the buffets here, if you would like to get soda or you would like a coffee or any kind of beverage, it's all included in that $25 price. And here is some peel and eat shrimp. And up there is a close-up of the turkey. And I think you see a little smoked salmon there.
And I want to mention, not like any drink, but your standard drinks, like you could get one of the, what do we call, moonshine. You can get a coffee. You can get a Diet Coke.
Anything non-alcoholic.
Right.
Basically.
And I mean, you can have all three at the same time, which to me is a big benefit of having a buffet, because that would be like $3 each or so at a, at a standard restaurant.
And there is that famous Trails End fried chicken. And it is hot, by the way. They used to have cold chicken, and we tried that for lunch. We didn't care for it so much. Anyway, I still would fully recommend for $25 the Sunday, or I guess the weekend brunch at Fort Wilderness Trails End.
It's still one of my favorite breakfast places on property, although Boma gets the edge. So if you've seen us talk about Boma and you only have the two, I would generally go for Boma, but Trails End is terrific too.
Now, once again, we're going to mention Axel because he is a DVC member, as we talked about last week. So he was able to arrange for a tour of these wonderful Copper Creek cabins for us.
And there are 26 of these Cascade cabins at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, and we had just been over at Disney's Fort Wilderness Campground, and then we ended up over here.
Yeah, it was very nice. You know, when you arrange for these tours, they actually pick you up in a van. So instead of the minivan, we had a blue DVC van, and it wasn't a very far drive. Took us right over, and they showed us around. And let me tell you, and I've been in the Polynesian, what do they call, the bungalows, and I prefer this.
Oh, by far I prefer this one. This is probably now my favorite accommodation type at Walt Disney World. I mean, I probably will never stay there, or maybe, who knows, you never know, but I just thought it was beautiful.
I mean, look at this. You have a nice fire. You could sit out by the fire, in or out, by the way. This is inside, and then on the other side, after you go outside, if it's a cool night or something, you can be actually out by the fire.
Right. I mean, you have a wraparound porch, and then there's a jacuzzi. If you go to the bungalows at Disney's Polynesian Resort, it's a plunge pool and you're outside, but there's no
screen. See here that you're fully screened in, so you don't have to worry about the mosquitoes or the bugs or any of that stuff.
Plus, it's not a jacuzzi at Disney's Polynesian Resort, which I by far
prefer the jacuzzi than the ice cold plunge pool.
So I would, well, it's probably not always ice cold, but
it's very warm in the summer.
I'm a big fan of the jacuzzis. So I just thought this was really nice. And Disney's Wilderness Lodge and Disney's Polynesian Resort are two of my probably top 3 resorts on property. But to me, this gives the edge to Disney's Polynesian Resort.
And you can
Village Resort now.
You can certainly fit a lot of people in here as well.
Well, you can sleep 8 adults. It's about 1,300 square feet. But they have grand villas. I guess it must be in the main building. I didn't research it too much. They can fit 12 that I guess are a lot bigger.
You know what? I can fit 12 in this. Easily.
Well, okay, for sleeping purposes, and that's how Disney does it. They have 1 king-size bed, 1 queen-size bed, 1 queen sleeper sofa, a single pull-down bed, and a sleeper chair. There's 2 bedrooms.
Well, this is the master bedroom, and it is really tremendous. Wait till you see what it looks like even in the bathroom, where they have one of those TVs right in the mirror.
And the first time we had seen that was over at the Grand Floridian Villas.
DVC, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I remember that.
And so that was the first time we had seen the little TV screens in the bathroom. But here you can see the wraparound porch more. And I just think this is a very beautiful house. I mean, I don't even know how else to say it.
It's more of a house than a villa, right?
Well, I mean, they call it a cabin. It doesn't feel like a cabin. It feels more like if you went into a home. And so I just think, again, I think this is probably my favorite. And I've been in most resorts, as far as I've stayed at most resorts at one point or another. And I just can't think of any that I like better than this.
So while we're looking at all this goodness, why don't you tell us some of the other Copper Creek additions?
Well, I'll just mention a couple things. Like they have the Copper Creek Springs pool, and that has a 67-foot water slide. We've been in there. I think we've shared some video of it. And also they have the Geyser Point Bar and Grill, which we've also discussed.
Which has changed, I believe, from opening. It used to be where you would just walk up and take a seat, but now you have to go to a podium and get an assigned seat.
I mean, we haven't been there since opening day. I thought the food was, for me, just okay. We eat around property a fair bit.
Yes,
and so,
as people can see from watching this show.
Especially lately, once Axel got here, we just like...
I blame Axel.
Yes.
Fully.
We dined up a storm. So also, if you see the Silver Creek Spring signage change to Copper Creek, that is at that waterfall area. And also, I just want to mention, here you can see Chip and Dale on the pull-out bed. And Disney has been doing this in a lot of their resorts, including like Port Orleans, Riverside.
Well, I have to say the layout at this particular cabin is, again, superior because this bed is in the main kitchen area, is in the Polynesian bungalow. So I think it's a better location here.
This is a little bit bigger than the bungalow. It is, you're not on the monorail loop when you stay at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, but you know, the trade-off, it's really beautiful.
So now we're going to jump over to Epcot again, our favorite place at this time of year. And we're going to look at the very last day of the Epcot International Festival of the Arts, and even more importantly, the very beginning of the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival.
And even today, as we're talking, more and more is popping up at Epcot, so I'm looking forward to seeing more.
And I love the very last mural with Figment there. That was very nice. One of the main reasons we went. We are collecting all the little cards that you get for participating, and we helped paint these murals.
Right, and from what I understand, that Figment he's kind of ushering in the, you know, celebrating that the Flower and Garden Festival is coming, and that was the last mural. Here is, they called it Tronald.
Tronald, love Tronald.
This was one of my favorite areas of the whole Epcot International Festival of the Arts, to come here and see the chalk art that they did daily. And some of it, I guess it rained a lot at the beginning, so it kind of washed away. So it really changed a lot over time. There's the Tesla. But like, I don't know if you call her Lei or Lee, but she was the one who did most of the Disney artwork. Like here we see Goofy. And that was my favorite, was generally the Disney artwork.
Yeah, it is all tremendous. Oh, speaking of tremendous, it took us to the very last day to realize that Pluto had a special Festival of the Arts collar.
Well, I actually noticed it a couple days earlier when I was by myself and you were at Daytona.
That's what I get for being at Daytona.
And I was walking around, I'm like, look, Pluto has a different collar.
I like how Pluto stopped for a little bit of water. He was very thirsty. It was quite, you know, it is quite hot in the upper 80s here in the Orlando area.
And you know what? I'm not going to complain, because we had so many cold days, at least cold to me days, that I'm just like, okay, well, if it's, you know, in the 80s, I'm good.
Yes, our poor friends that live far away, like Belgium, are freezing.
Still cold.
So we cannot complain about this nice shorts weather we're having.
It's, you know what? It's beautiful, and I just thought it was interesting. Oh, there I am.
Look at he loves you.
I was not expecting
went right over to you, Denise.
And you know what? I was not expecting any photos or video this day. I didn't put makeup on. All I want to do was go out and take some photos. But it was really fun, and Pluto doesn't usually grab me like that.
Well, you know, I did promise, well, we're just going to meet Pluto. I'm not going to do any video or anything. And you said, well, why don't you at least get him coming in? So I did not expect him to do all this. So it wasn't my fault. Wasn't my fault. I blame you for the whole thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was just wanting to take a few photos. I wasn't, again, not expecting any video. But I just thought it was nice. He had the collar. The characters are doing more and more of that around World Showcase, where during the different festivals they may have a little something different.
So here is just a little preview of the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival.
Well, this is actually DVC bears.
Oh,
so
I see. Well, it's the beginning of our preview.
Yes.
So there you go.
There's William Shakespeare for the Shakespeare's Garden. You have Tinkerbell here in the UK. Peter Pan is now on the ground, and you have Captain Hook here.
It's been a long time since Peter Pan has been on the ground. He's been on top of the shop there in the UK pavilion for a long time.
The sportsman
and that's
shop.
a really nice picture that you have of him. He doesn't have much of a face, so that's maybe why he's up in the... Look at the face on Snow White there.
No TikTok Croc, I was going to mention.
Yet. Perhaps he will make an appearance.
I don't know I don't think he's going to come, but we'll see. And then, you have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They've been in this particular location in Germany for many years now. They have been in other areas in Germany previously, but this is probably at least year 4 at this point.
I think she has the nicest look of all the topiary.
I think she does too, but Belle.
Yeah.
I think Belle's new
I almost
face is
forgot
beautiful.
about Belle. New face.
It is. I mean, she used to not have any face.
That's true.
And you have the pandas here in China.
Oh, the troll. I love the troll.
And I saw a father asking a child, do you want to have your picture taken with whatever this is? Not everybody knows it's a troll. And there's Elsa and Anna. They are back. I think this is maybe their second year in this particular location, though they've been here now for about 4 years. And there is the Festival of the Arts Postcard with Figment, and during the 6 weeks, every time you helped paint the mural, you would get a postcard.
So we have a full set of postcards to add to our collection. So very nice. That's why we kept going back, and everyone has to keep watching these segments every week.
Right. Well, I wanted to make sure I got at least a postcard or 2 each week. And so this is the last mural of the whole festival.
And not much longer, only February 28th, we will have the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival opening, and we'll have full coverage on our next show. But now we're going to look at something completely different and very exciting, the Orlando Cat Cafe.
So the Orlando Cat Cafe has been here for a little over a year now. It's actually in Claremont, Florida, which is really closer to Disney's Animal Kingdom than pretty much anything. And here is, if you buy certain types of coffee, they have the ability to make a face in it.
Which was really awesome. I loved that. It was a fantastic photo op.
Right, and I thought very Instagrammable. And they have all these sweet treats that you can purchase and sandwiches.
And you can bring it all in with the cats, by the way.
You can.
The coffee. I wonder if the cats like the cat face on the coffee.
I think they probably would like that. So the Animal League is in partnership with the Orlando Cat Cafe. You can adopt these cats, which they have I think they've adopted like 160 out so far. Many of these cats, I've been there twice now. And a few weeks ago, these cats, they're so cute, are no longer there anymore because they were adopted out. And so by the time a few weeks later that we went, they were pretty much all turned over.
Well, I have to just say, this whole thing has been a complete miracle because I am highly allergic to cats. I have never been able to be around cats. And you kind of talked me into going in and doing some video. This was from the second trip. You had gone on your own the first time.
I thought you'd be able to go in for a minute or two and at least just get a tiny bit of video, and then you'd have to hop out. And, you know, you can stay in the coffee shop and it's connected, but it's very separate.
Right. If you're allergic, that would be, which again, I am. I don't know how it happened, but I was able to stay the entire hour. They were so adorable. And I mean, I did go out and I got a few beverages and came back. But whatever it was, it's the first time I've ever in my whole life been able to spend this amount of time, and I just loved it. It was just so nice to not be affected by my allergies. And
you touched.
Actually, well, I didn't hold them like you did, but I did pet a couple of them.
Well, you're not supposed. I didn't really hold them, but you know, I probably petted them.
See how you're petting them now? Like I very gingerly would touch them because I was afraid of being allergic.
But like one of the kitties was purring really heavily, and Jeff has never felt a cat purr before, so that was the first time.
That was awesome.
That he's ever gotten to feel a cat purr. So I definitely want to go back.
I want to go back. I want to go back now.
And it costs $8 per hour, and then for adults and under 12 is $4 per hour. They're not open. I believe it's on Mondays. But they're open other days, and you really want to make a reservation online ahead of time. Like when we went in, it was pretty full as far as the amount of guests that they can allow in with the cats.
And I should mention that they have a little door that is in the back of the cat cafe, and at any time, if the cat just wants to go off and rest in the back, they don't want to deal with the people, they can totally do that. So I think that's nice, giving them the option.
Or if they want to use the litter box or whatever. I mean, it's very nice, and it's certainly, you know how cats are. Cats are very independent.
And as you just saw, of course, you exit and enter through the gift shop, which there are some very nice items there.
Yes, and you can online, you can order, and probably here too, you can order an annual pass as well if you want to go more often.
I love the actual real cat peering out the window with the display. I just have to mention the coffee there was tremendous. I would go back just for the coffee. That's 100%. I bought my own coffee. It was just
the coffee
awesome.
Was really good. And I just want to mention also they have like events, like they have yoga with cats. They have high tea with the kitties. They have a Dr. Seuss celebration coming up. So they have different events during the year as well. So definitely check out their site, which is just orlandocatcafe.com. And I really recommend it if you have a car. It's maybe 15 minutes or so from Animal Kingdom.
And that is another show thanks to our sponsor, MEI Travel and MouseFan Travel.
And now that Toy Story Land also has been announced for June 30th, this is a good time to think about summer travel. We haven't even mentioned Toy Story Land, and really we're just about in that booking window for the Epcot Food and Wine Festival, even though we're not even there to the Flower and Garden yet. So so much to think of this year.
Yeah, I think Toy Story Land is going to be just crazy. So the sooner the better is what I say.
And there'll be a Guardians of the Galaxy dance party at Epcot, so you can go to Toy Story Land and then you can go dance, with a one of the characters
With
from
Groot,
Guardians.
we hear Groot will be making an appearance among other characters. So,
we'll
there's
see.
a lot of good stuff coming up this year.
You know what? There's a lot coming.
Not to mention Paint the Night. We will be there for the very first performance of Paint the Night at Disneyland in April.
A lot going on at Disneyland. A lot going at Disneyland Paris. Adventures by Disney. So definitely check out MEI Travel for all of that. There are so many agents there, and many of them travel to all of these destinations, especially Becky, the owner, who's been to like all of them in the last year.
So as we said earlier, next week we're going to have full coverage of the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival, and we'll also be stopping by a couple times leading up to that to watch the progression, so I'm sure we'll include that in next week's show as well.
And we have so much from when Axel was here, like so much dining, so many things to look at. The pontoon boat.
Oh, not to mention, yes, the 3 captains that took out the pontoon boat.
And me.
And you, yes, you did
I
not
was
want
not a
captain hat. You rejected it.
But it's funny because the trackers, you noticed online, the Tim Tracker and Jen
He
Tracker.
must have been channeling our captain hat.
You got the same exact hat, and they didn't even know that you had
Brilliant idea,
the hat.
I tell you that.
You can get $4
Amazon, $4
for a
I think
captain's hat.
$4.70. Can't beat. That's the best $4.70 ever. Except that I forgot I was wearing it in Trader Sam's for 2.5 hours until you mentioned it to me.
Yes, well, Jeff knew I wouldn't wear one, but everybody else wore one. So.
Anyway, lots of goodness coming up. Have a great week. We'll see you all next week. And I think I said that backwards.
Oh, have a great week.